Top of the morning to you. You're tuned to Idea Morning Digest right here on Idea TV. Always a pleasure to sit with you to talk about all the things happening in and around Africa. My name is Chinatu Oji. I'm not alone. I have the beautiful Mary who will be doing justice to the conversation today with me. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Chinatu.
I see that you're a bit under the weather. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Chinatu.
All right. So today we'll be sharing a lot of things with you. We have 4 news stories lined up, from the energy sector to, a lot of things happening in Africa. We'll be sharing that with you. And we'd like you to keep tabs with us across the different social media platforms. Tell your friends to tell their other friends that Idea TV wants them to connect with us. Meanwhile, before we go on a short break, Mary, I think we should let them know what the headlines would look like today. And the first story being that NMDPRA and NUPRC chiefs resign, and the president has named 2 replacements.
We have Angola Vietnam signed first agricultural cooperation deal.
We also have Nigeria to launch $1 billion fund for blue economy startups in March 2026. We'll also be seeing that Senegal and Gambia have sealed 5-year deal to expand student mobility. Well, let's go on a short break now. The gist is on the other side.
Education is going through a shift similar to what we've seen in entertainment and shopping. Hyper-personalization. Instead of one-size-fits-all lessons, AI tutors adapt in real time to how a student learns. Khan Academy launched Khanmigo, an AI-powered guide that helps students with math, science, and coding, while also assisting teachers with lesson planning. Duolingo uses AI to personalize language lessons, serving over 80 million monthly users worldwide. Global market
information. According to a statement by presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga, Ahmed and Kumolafe were appointed in 2021 by former President Muhammadu Buhari to head the 2 regulatory bodies established under the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA). Tinubu nominated Oritsemeyiwa Amano Yeson as Chief Executive Officer of NUPRC and Engineer Saidu Aliyu Mohammed as Chief Executive Officer of NMDPRA, urging the Senate to expedite their confirmation. Yeson, an economics graduate of the University of Benin, spent nearly 33 years with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC), retiring as Executive Vice President upstream in 2024. Also served as Group General Manager, Corporate Planning and Strategy. Engineer Saidu Aliyu Mohammed, a chemical engineering graduate of Ahmed Bello University, Zaria, is a veteran oil and gas professional and was recently named on Independent Non-Executive Director at Seplat Energy. There's been a lot of reaction since the story broke out yesterday about this resignation, and Nigerians are wondering what went wrong, what happened. We'll be talking more about this during the discussion segment. However, we'd just like you to know that this one hits very hard, and anything that made these people resign has to be very serious, because those are not positions where you just run away. That's oil money area. That's not places where, to be at the helm of affairs is a lot. And I know that it was just was it last month or early this month where we saw the Minister of Defense, who also resigned, and we are now seeing this. So there's a whole lot around leadership. And sometimes I tell people that as a leader, when you realize that you can no longer cope, it's better to, resign in peace than wait for the embarrassment that allows you to, allows for misconduct.
I just feel that, like you just said, that was what they did. They had to resign in peace rather than waiting to be embarrassed and be walked out of the office. But in another view, I just feel, okay, maybe they're not doing the work. They are not putting enough effort as expected. That's the reason why they have to be replaced. But for them to resign on their own, it means that they've looked into it and they've seen that this actually, they can't do it and they can't take it anymore. Because if you follow the story very well, anyways, I'm going to be breaking it down on our discussion segment. A lot went down before they decided to resign. A lot actually happened during the process. And I believe that's one of the reasons why they had to just resign in order to save themselves from other further embarrassment.
All right. With that, I think we can take the next story, which says Angola and Vietnam have signed their first memorandum of understanding on agricultural cooperation during a working visit from December 9th to 14th. The agreement supports the Vietnam-Angola Agricultural Cooperation Action Plan for 2025 to 2030, signed in August to mark 50 years of diplomatic relations. It focuses on joint projects in rice, cassava, soybean production, and forestry development, with priority given to rice cultivation in Angola's Lunda North province. Under the deal, Vietnam will train Angolan technicians and deploy experts to Angola to transfer technical know-how and support small-scale farmers. 10 Angolan technical officers are scheduled to undergo training in Vietnam from December 21 to 27, 2025, while Vietnamese experts will visit Angola to assess project conditions. The partnership aims to boost Angola's agricultural output and reduce its dependence on food imports. Angola is Southern Africa's second largest food importer, spending an average of $2.58 billion annually on food imports between 2021 and 2023, according to UNCTAD data. Great.
You know, I like the cooperation there because the partnership too, because in any farming process that there is cooperation and organization is going to yield more fruit, and there's going to be more expansion everywhere, and you know, it will reduce poverty rate drastically. So I like the fact that the partnership came in there quickly, and I believe with this they are going to grow and expand more. You understand that there's going to be more, you know, food production and increase in employment. That's what I see there.
Thank you. So I like that you've highlighted that point, because there's one thing that I know Africa can thrive on. It's partnership. It's sincere collaboration. And there is not just collaboration, but you see the intentionality with the collaboration. And so people from Angola are going to Vietnam to get trained, to get technical expertise, and then they come back to Angola to put what they've learned into practice. You can see the time frame. So there's a lot of intentionality from the planning to the implementation. It's like everything is properly spelled out.
Exactly.
So I like how this is going, and I hope that other African countries can really learn from this. Angola is one country that I admire, and because they realize the natural resources that they have, they're capitalizing on it. How are they capitalizing? We have these things, you have the expertise. How do we come together to ensure that it's a win-win for everybody, so nobody goes back without anything? And they are doing that exchange. You can see the Angolans are going for technical training. That training is a knowledge exchange, and
Of course.
so they are not just having collaboration. You can see the level of intentionality put into that collaboration. So it's one thing to collaborate, it's another thing to have a different perspective about the collaboration. If you're not seeing value, or you're just collaborating for collaborating sake, then there's no need to do that. You must find value for you to collaborate properly, because at the end of the day, it's that value that propels you to keep going. The journey is not always going to be smooth, but if you have a reason, if you're able to answer your why as a country and then collaborate, it is easy. The memorandum of understanding can, along the line, you realize that, certain things I agree to, I may not agree to, but if you've defined your why from the beginning, it's easy to stay through to the cost. So I'm really proud of Angola and Vietnam, and I want to see other African countries tap into this pattern of leadership, because I call it leadership. They are leading by example. Exactly. They are showing what is possible when, two countries come together. And it doesn't matter whether the country is an African country or not. Vietnam is not in Africa, but look at the collaboration. They've gone beyond the seas to ensure that the expertise, the knowledge, everything becomes a win-win for all parties involved. And I must really commend Angola.
That's to tell you the strength of unity. The strength of unity comes in this right now, because where there is unity, you see that things begin to strive. Where there is unity, you see that there is strength to do more. And with this now, bringing them in to want to teach, to want to train their technicians and deploy experts, it's a big one there. And of course, it's a win-win situation situation where they will go back and then pass out this knowledge to the rest people, teaching them how they can go about these things. And you see that it's actually a win-win situation where everything is balanced and everything goes smoothly. That's what we're looking forward to in this country. That's what we want, the partnership stuff that can actually make us thrive when it comes to agriculture and other aspects of life too.
I totally agree with you. I think with that, that's the cue to get the next story. And the next story says that Nigeria plans to launch a $1 billion fund in March 2026 to support startups in the blue economy and maritime sectors. As part of efforts to diversify the economy away from oil, the fund was announced on December 14, 2025 in Abuja by Ronke Kusuku, CEO of the Maritime Innovations Hub. It will be officially unveiled at the Blue Economy Investment Summit, which is scheduled for March 9 to 11, 2026 in Lagos. The initiative will target startups in shipping, fisheries, coastal tourism, shipbuilding, and marine renewable energy. Beyond financing, the fund will provide training, technical assistance, and access to international networks. Kosoko said talks with financial partners are at an advanced stage, building on a previous $100 million secured for maritime sector capacity building. Nigeria's blue economy is seen as a key growth sector, but currently contributes less than 3% to GDP, despite the country's 850-kilometer coastline and strategic shipping position. Authorities believe structured investment could help close part of the country's estimated $750 billion GDP gap by formalizing maritime activities and creating jobs. The announcement comes shortly after Nigeria's election to the International Maritime Organization Council for the 2026 term, a move officials say will boost investor confidence and strengthen global partnerships in the sector. Great. We are seeing a lot about to happen in 2026. And I don't know if you're excited, but it feels like 2026 is so pregnant and there's a lot about to happen. And I can't wait to have this. The blue economy is one sector that is hardly spoken about. However, too many things happen. A lot happen. But oftentimes it's just like, we're not looking at it. We're not really interested. But you can see how much the federal government is ready to commit. $1 billion. It's a very huge amount. And of course, it's one thing to commit and it's another thing to have this commitment play out in practical terms. It's one thing to have this kind of money set aside for a project and another to see that this project really impacts the life that it aims to impact. I've seen the lineup of things, the target fisheries, shipbuilders, and all of those things that make up the blue economy. But if we are just going to look at this without accountability, without transparency, without ensuring that whoever is assigned a project, as long as the blue economy is concerned, can be held to book, can be held accountable, we will just have wasted another money, another time, another resources for nothing. And I'm not sure that 2026 is that year where we want to just beat around repeating the same cycle of mistakes like in 2025. So 2026 is pregnant, but let's see what the blue economy holds. And this fund should be able to, in the long run, change the life of the Nigerian people. So let us see how it plays out.
This 2026 is actually pregnant with a lot of things.
I agree.
A lot of good things coming, a lot of planning here and there, a lot of things put back to line. And like you said, we believe that 2026 is going to be like this particular plan is going to be followed with anybody that is put in charge is going to be followed to the end to make sure that everything falls in place. And I like the fact that we're saying creating of jobs here, very, very important. 2026, I believe, is going to be a year where our youths in Nigeria are not going to be lacking jobs anymore, because with all the plans put in ground so far, I've seen that the structure of everything is going to create job for youth. So as a Nigerian, there is nothing like you should jackpot from your country anymore, because 2026 is coming with a lot of benefits, a lot of structuring, a lot of shifting here and there. If you notice very well, a lot of shiftings has been happening lately. You see shifting in the political side, in other side, agricultural sector and the rest of it. So I believe and I am very hopeful that 2026 is going to be one of the best years. We've had other best years though, but 2026 is going to be one of the best.
Of course, with more intentionality, it's going to be the best year.
Of course, and effort and work into should be put into it, I believe.
Yeah.
It's going to be a best year.
And the last story says Senegal and Gambia signed 5-year pact to boost student mobility. And the story goes, Senegal and Gambia have signed a 5-year action plan to strengthen cooperation in higher education, research and innovation. The agreement formalized in Dakar establishes a joint governance framework, including a bilateral technical committee to be set up within 3 months and a midterm review scheduled for 2028. It aims to expand students and faculty exchanges and improve integration between the two countries' university systems. Under the plan, Gambian Centers of Excellence will partner with Senegalese vocational and professional higher education institutions to enhance curricula, staff training, and teaching facilities. The cooperation also covers exchanges on accreditation and quality assurance systems. The initiative seeks to address structural capacity constraints in both countries and improve graduate employability, aligning wider continental efforts to promote academic mobility across Africa. Who wouldn't love that? Who wouldn't love that?
Exactly. Like I said, there's a lot of structuring going on right now.
Restructuring. Yeah.
Going on right now. And a lot of things are being put in place right now. Like as you can see, we're hoping that 2026, I can see it's pregnant and it's going to bring a lot of goodies to us. Just like this story now we just finished reading. We're now touching the academic aspect of it, academic aspect of the world in total. So one thing you should understand that education is very, very important and is one of the things that helps us in this country, because if our youths are not educated, of course, what else?
Mary says if our youths are not educated, what else? Anyway, then they go into other things, other vices. But that's not what we're encouraging today. I'm just excited for Senegal and Gambia coming together to have this pact that holds each other accountable with so much intentionality, especially around the education sector. And it's very important because I've always said that education stands as the bedrock of every society that wishes to prosper in the long term. Of course, there are short vices, but when you want to prosper, when you want to record the highest level of progress, you must have education at your core. And that's what we see with Senegal and Gambia today. And what are they doing? They're trying to boost student mobility. They are encouraging knowledge exchange, they're encouraging innovation, and they're making available the resources to ensure that that happens. Because it's one thing to make promises and say, oh, we are encouraging innovation. It's another thing to ensure that what all the things needed to have that innovation take place, to have all of that technological advancement in the lives of the students happen, it's made available. So Senegal and Gambia coming together is a whole milestone that we can't overlook. The best part of it is that it's a long term. It's running from 2025 to 2030, so it's not just a one-year thing. It's a whole 5-year plan, and that's something that we must commend. We are saying that Gambia is going to partner with Senegalese vocational and professional higher education institutions. So they're not going to just learn theories. They're going to be empowered vocational skills. Students are not going to just come out and, in Nigeria, how we say, oh, when you graduate in character and in learning. Now in Gambia and Senegal, it's going to be tweaked a little to be they are going to leave school in character, in learning, and in skills. So they are now empowered with the right skills. So much so that you do not have to wait for the government to give you jobs. Exactly. And that's one thing I tell people. I do not believe the government is never going to be able to give everybody a job.
Exactly.
You have to create something out of nothing. And just yesterday, I saw a video of a young lady who was just appreciating Tony Lumelo, and she was just saying that she got a grant from the foundation and she was just a person. But today, within the space of 3 or 4 years, she's been able to employ 7 extra people. So she has 7 staff who are now working in that little company of hers. What are we seeing? This is what happens when there is knowledge exchange, when there is skills empowerment with intentionality. So you're not just making promises on paper and people are just having theories to read and they just graduate. How many? You just go to school today and you see the number of graduates. I was telling my dad the other day that, or my dad was telling me, he said, do you know that very soon master's will look like your regular first degree. Do you know how many people, and look around you, most of the friends that you came out of school with first degree, they must all have their masters as well. And the next thing is going to be the PhD. So because people are constantly, and if you ask some of them the reason they have their masters or they're chasing their masters is because they want to have a higher paying job.
Exactly.
So it doesn't come from a place of quest for knowledge. It's about, I'm going for my master's. For some people, I know some people, it's just really about knowledge or expanding their career prospects. It's about how much more I can be paid. Because, if you have master's, you're going to come in as a regular recruit, you'd be somebody who earns better. So they go with that mindset. But imagine that we are not just learning, we are empowered with the right skills to live in a country like Nigeria. You're already a solution. You're empowering people around you. Your cycle is becoming better. You're ensuring that you're paying your taxes, so the economy is getting better. People around you are getting their jobs and they're paying taxes. And so it's like a cycle that never ends. And that cycle doesn't end because it is very successful.
It's a big one on that. That's the reason why most people would say, many youths do not place much importance on education these days. The reason is because the ones that have not gone to school will be like, don't worry, after you go out of the school, you come and work for me. You'll be under me. And this saying has been going for a very long time now, and it discourages a lot of people to go to school because they'll be like, after this education inquiry and getting the certificate, what else? What next? What next in life after the youth service and all? What is the next plan? What plans do you have? That's why you have to have skills. You have to have something to back yourself up. In the long run, where you know that after school you do not have a job instantly to fall back on, you have your skill there to help you, to enable you, to make you have savings that you can stand on your own tomorrow as a boss. You can even employ those that still do have that higher certificate. But this program right here now is very encouraging because I see under the plan, I see staff training, I see and other providing teaching facility. Very important. It's not about even owning a school. It's about the comfortability of the students, of people that are coming to learn. But with these and all these things put in place and put together, I believe the environment is going to be comfortable enough for students to learn. And teaching staff is very, very important. It's not about employing someone that has a first class, or do the person know their job. And that's the reason why the staff training is very important to me. I think that aspect is very, very important to me, teaching the staff, putting them through on the right knowledge to pass to the next people, on the right knowledge to pass to young ones, because of course they are the leaders of tomorrow and they need the right knowledge to run with. And remember, with your skill, you can go far. You can create opportunities for yourself. You can employ people that work under you before waiting for that government job that might take a little time, that might delay. You would be busy opening your own small business that you can manage, and from there you will thrive, and from there you have other ideas to do other things. So instead of just sitting and waiting for one government job, it's better you start up something. You know that, okay, if I invest in this thing, my 5 naira, my 20 naira account, and it will go far for me. And with that, you're definitely going to do great.
Mary has advised you, everybody, like she's a mother, but that's good. Okay, let's quickly look at the headlines we brought away this morning, and after that we're gonna break. When we return, it'll be time for us to talk about the NMDPRA and NUPRC in bits. Great.
Yeah,
So the first headline was NMDPRA and NUPRC chiefs resign, president names replacement. You also saw that Angola and Vietnam signed first agricultural cooperation deal. We also brought you news about Nigeria sets to launch $1 billion fund for big economy startups in March 2026. And then finally you heard Senegal and Gambia seal 5-year deal to expand students' mobility. Let's go on this break now. We'll be on the other side waiting for you.
Number 11, blockchain beyond finance. Blockchain isn't just about cryptocurrency anymore. Governments and corporations are deploying it to verify supply chains, secure digital identities, and reduce fraud. The European Union has been piloting blockchain for cross-border customs and logistics, while IBM's food trust platforms being used by Walmart to track produce safety from farm to shelf. South Korea rolled out a blockchain-based digital ID for citizens, aiming to replace physical ID cards. Analysts at PwC estimate blockchain could add $1.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030, with most of that value outside of finance.
Welcome back from that short break. It was actually too short, Mary, because I wanted to get some comments to show our viewers about this. Okay. But then our MCR people say, oh yeah, time is here. Okay, discussion segment. The leadership of Nigeria's key petroleum regulatory bodies have undergone a major shake-up, a major one, as Engineer Farouk Ahmed, and the chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, and Benga Komolafe, chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulation Commission, that's NUPRC, have resigned. Interestingly, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has forwarded the names of their proposed successors to the Senate for urgent confirmation, marking a significant transition in the governance of the nation's oil and gas sector. The departures come amid heightened public scrutiny and controversy surrounding regulatory conduct in the industry. So there have been plenty serious allegations and public scrutiny with the resignation of Farouk Ahmed being closely linked to, with the, resignation of Farouk Ahmed being linked to some things around scrutiny. And
exactly.
I know that when you are a person who is in public office,
you have to be very
careful because it's as though the whole world is watching you.
Of course. All eyes on you.
I cannot sit here and say with authority that either Farouk or Benga did this or that.
Exactly.
But they are resigning at a very critical time, and there have been series of comments and people are, alleging some things and saying, "Oh, these people left because they were guilty of this or that." And so there's that whole process of leading in Nigeria and having to face that. I don't want to call it backlash, because as a person who occupies, this is the oil and gas sector of the economy. This is a sector that holds the chunk of money that, that flows in this economy. So you have to expect that people would be looking up to you. People would be looking at you and wondering, oh, what are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? So some people are also even saying that Dangote has a role to play in this. So, and I don't know how that plays out, but people are saying that Dangote has a role to play because it might be driven by, their resignation might be driven by personal interest, business interest. So Dangote is trying to, push his industry. And there's also been ongoing tensions between these two bodies, these regulatory bodies, and
aside the business aspect.
Yes, there's been tension between now the regulatory body and the refineries. So Dangote at the refinery and this NUPRC and NPRDC, having this back and forth every now and then. I remember that we were almost always reporting news about, there was a time where Dangote sacked 800 of his staff, let them go. And it was because they had gone to join the union, the NUPRC union, right? So there's been that back and forth in the industry, in the sector. So some people are not even surprised about their resignation. Some people saw it coming, and there are people who are saying that, are you sure it's resignation? Are you sure they're not just saying it's resignation for the public? Are you sure they were not chased away? But we have many comments and people alleging that, oh, it has to be because of the issue of Dangote. But I think more than anything, what we should be focusing on is we have to know that when we put people in charge of a thing, they have to be people that can be held accountable.
Exactly.
So if their resignation is based off on the fact that they've underperformed, no problem.
Okay.
However, it shouldn't be malicious. That's what I like to say. It shouldn't be malicious. They should deserve what they get. So if they did well and are dismissed, allegedly dismissed, without the due process, then there's a problem. But when you're leading, especially in Nigeria, you have to be ready for anything. So I'm not sure they're even surprised, or many, especially Nigerians, are not surprised. But they've made their mark either ways.
Of course. Leading in Nigeria is something else because, like you said, you have to be very, very careful about what you do, how you put out your life there, especially on social media, because it's an oil and gas sector and every eye will be on you, your movement, your spendings and everything. And I believe that for long now, they've been doing silent investigation on this too, trying to know what and how they've been running the whole affair. And it could be that maybe it's as a result of underperforming that made them to resign, or realizing that, okay, we cannot handle this position anymore. I'm just saying from my own point of view, maybe they feel they cannot handle this position anymore. Okay, let's just move and allow other persons to come and take charge, because accusations has been going down, up and down here and there, and we're hearing a lot, especially on social media. Like me, for one, I do not even know what to believe at this point, because I've heard a lot of accusations here and there. And like you said, they've had this personal something with Dangote for a while before they even thought of resigning. So I don't know whether that's actually the reason why they resign, but it's a critical state that we are in now for them to actually resign. I was thinking maybe next year would have been better, but I think he that wears the shoe know where it hurts more. So I cannot say whether it's a right or a wrong decision for them to resign at this point in time, but all I know is that the new appointed ones should actually do the work and let there be transparency. And like some people are requesting, we want more investigation to be done. What exactly went down? What happened? Why did they resign all of a sudden? And now it's making headlines. Why did they resign? We want to know the reason. We want to know why. Because seeing a lot of things on social media right now do not actually tell us the main reason why they resigned. I've read a lot of articles about it, but I'm still wanting to know the main reason why they left their... It's a very attractive position. If I, for one, is occupying that position, I don't think... But I feel it's an attractive position, and it has a lot of pressure that comes with it too. So the job is not really easy. I don't think the job is easy. And Nigeria, we're in Nigeria, of course. Anything can happen, and especially when it's a government job. You have to be careful, and you have to be very watchful and mindful, and also you'll be held accountable. Just have that at the back of your mind. So I don't know whether the pressure was much on them. Like I said, he that wears the shoes know where it hurts. So I don't know, maybe it's as a result of the pressure and all that, they felt, okay, let someone else come and take charge. Let's see how it's going to go. But I'm not hearing anything from the president, though.
Well, what we heard was that he has been able to forward names of successors.
Exactly.
So that's
him
speaking.
I heard. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So that he has made this point known. But there's also this whole split and public opinion over Dangote's involvement, like I mentioned before. And some people are saying that his push, Dangote has been pushing for accountability a lot in the oil and gas sector, that he's been pushing for proper accountability and transparency, and some people are now alleging that it could be a huge signal for stronger stance against corruption, that he may have been passing a message to the government and saying, oh, we have to ensure that people who are at the helm of affairs are people that are accountable, are people that are trustworthy, that we can count on. And so some other people also say that his actions may not just be about his stance against corruption, but because of business interests. And that's where capitalism wins. You want your business to keep thriving, and how else can you make it thrive? You have to ensure that your competitors are playing backwards, playing below the belt. So And you cannot take away the fact that there have been ongoing tensions. I remember that we were reporting those news stories between regulators and refinery operations. Should the refinery work? Should it not work? So all of that. And I wasn't happy when the conversation around the refinery kept on going as though we did not understand the essence of that refinery. It was coming to save Nigerians. Because tell me how we have other refineries in Nigeria. Go to Port Harcourt, you see refineries that are not in use. And there's usually money allotted for these things to be fixed. And year in, year out, they are not fixed. What were we supposed to do? What are the ordinary Nigerians supposed to do? Because the truth is, you now pay more. You'd say, oh, the refinery or no refinery doesn't affect me. We're importing oil. Do you know that we're not supposed to import unnecessary things?
That we already
we'll now import oil that is refined when we could have built our own refinery.
That we are blessed. Nigeria is blessed with a lot of natural resources.
You know, somebody said that Nigeria exports its natural resources only to bring in the same natural resources but more expensive, because the people have used their resources, their technologies, their advancement, their knowledge to ensure that your natural resources that you sold at a very cheap whatever, I don't know, that you sold out almost for free, they've refined it and made it better, and then they bring it back to you.
To sell back to you.
To sell back to you. And so when Dangote came up with the refinery, people were happy, because even though it is a private business, it meant something good for Nigerians. It meant a lot of relief for not just Nigeria, even for Africa. And today we've seen the number of people that refinery has not just empowered, it has employed, it has changed the course of their life forever. And I'm not even talking about how it has changed the economy in terms of the price of fuel. You realize that when you buy fuel from there, it's cheaper.
Yeah,
the supply is cheaper compared to what other regulators were doing.
Yes.
So all of this could have caused that lack of confidence in the sector or instability. So there's a whole lot that went into this story, and we are just here to really speak about how it is now playing out. And I hope those who are coming in are not just going to watch, because very soon the Senate will confirm them, and then, the congratulations will come in.
Yeah,
but I'm confident, because these two people, the nominees, are very seasoned professionals, and they've led in their own right at different points in their career. And so I hope that there are people who would not come in and play so much that investor confidence in our country will be heightened, and the performance in the sector will also be broadened, because we do not want to see the same mistake. So if we say that these people are resigning because they underperformed, the person who is coming has to triple that performance, has to do better than those who left. That is the only way impact will be felt. But if we come and we start acting like, it's a normal thing, let us do like this, it's Nigerian thing, then we are not ready for change. So I'm really I don't want to say excited, but I just want to see how the new successors come in and change the trajectory for the oil and gas for Nigeria.
We won't have anybody resigning anymore. At this point, I think that is what we're actually waiting for, that the people that have been nominated will do the job. Will do the job that we have been looking forward to, and will be transparent enough and will be held accountable at the end of the day. So we won't have anyone coming to resign at a critical moment. But like, Nigerians are also looking into the issue and saying that it's not about resigning. Resigning is not enough. We still need accountability. We still need transparency. We still need to look into their books to know what has gone down. Nigerians are very, very interested to know what has gone down. If there has been any illegal transaction here and there that is causing the sector not to be stable or causing the corruption, let's know how to tackle it, so that the next person that will be in that office will not come and suffer the sin of the past people that have gone. So that's the reason why we are looking forward to transparency. Like I said, some people are actually saying, not me, that it could be that Dangote is fighting for someone that he knows personally to be in the office. I don't think that's true. I think that is just saying, because a lot of people have a lot of things to say about this, because the way they resign, they'll be like, okay, this one is not their people. They want to get their people into office. I think that all of us were moving forward towards fighting corruption and making Nigeria a better place. And making Nigeria a better place to the extent that everything will be cheap for us to afford. And luckily for us, we're in the festive period where everybody is planning to travel. What if you just wake up one morning and just discover that the price of fuel is now higher than what you think? You won't be able to move to anywhere anymore. You'll just be in your house, respect yourself, afford the food you can afford, and rest your case. But the reason why all this is going down, because we believe that 2026 is going to be a better year, a year of productivity, a year of growth. That's why we're saying restructuring here and there. I believe that this will work and the nominees are going to do their job. It's going to be a practical one. They're going to work the work that they've been called for into the office. That's what I believe. Because I don't even know them personally.
Well, their work speaks for them, and I think that's the concern on every Nigerian citizen, and everybody's just hoping that it's not going to be just another moment of personal change, but a litmus test for governance, for anti-corruption, for enforcement, and regulatory independence in the Nigeria's most revenue-critical sector. And when we say most revenue-critical sector, we mean it, because this is the sector that moves the economy. This is the sector where everybody, we keep saying, let's diversify. Let us start pushing for agro-economy. Let us start pushing for blue economy. Well, as far as Nigeria is concerned, you see, the oil and gas sector, it is the most critical. And so we cannot dare to dabble into things that we do not understand. Because we cannot deny the fact that the oil and gas industry is central to the government's income and economic stability of Nigeria. And so Nigerians are already beginning to question and monitor whether this transition will strengthen transparency and effectiveness, or simply recycle leadership without structural change. I think when Mary was speaking, I like what she said about, you know, them coming in to do something different. We need that restructuring.
Exactly.
It's not about tenure. It's not about it's my turn to lead. It's not about this is my brother's turn. It is no. It's about changing the narrative. What can we do to be better? How can we ensure that the story is rewritten for the betterment of everybody? Because we don't want this whole thing to, you know, continue again. We want to ensure that, oh, this industry is better than we, you know, I don't want to say we left it, than the previous people left it, because I'm not there, but whatever happens over there affects every one of us. That's what people do not know. And so when decisions like this happen, they are very key. But if you stand aloof and say, oh, it's their thing, it's going to favor their...
concern me.
My sister, my
brother. At the end of the day,
by the time fuel is sold for 2,500,
that's what I said. It's going to concern you, because you sit in your house. Of course, there won't be movement like that. Even going to job will be very difficult. You want to respect yourself and sit at a point, because of course, if you're working and you're not well paid and you're paying huge transportation, you would want to sit back.
You just relax. You will, because what are you going to do? So, and there's something up. Did you notice that this is about the first Christmas in a long while where the price of fuel hasn't skyrocketed?
Exactly.
I know that earlier in the year, transportation had surged. However, it's been that way. This is that Christmas where I'm still paying the same amount on transport, and that makes a lot of sense. So you see that the refinery that came really did magic. It did magic. That this is the first Christmas. The only problem I have is that people that are selling water leaf and chicken, I don't understand. Somebody just told me that they told him that turkey is 150k. Turkey, that's somebody's whole salary.
Okay.
Whole salary for one turkey.
So you want to eat
chicken is 35k. I was telling Sita yesterday. But for other things, you see that the price of rice is still about 50 to 67k. Compared to last year that we saw 120k.
And everybody was wondering, are we going to eat rice in December?
People are wondering. But this year, it's whole different. So I'm proud of what's happening, and I want the momentum to be sustained. But it cannot be sustained if we do not encourage accountability and transparency. So the new NMDPRA and NUPRC chiefs, as they resign, I hope that their replacement come in and do a better work.
Workings.
Mary, as we wrap up, what do you have to say?
Exactly what you just said. Now you said it all. I hope they will come into power and do the needful, and let's see the workings. Let there be transparency. As we are all supporting this notion, we didn't support that the other ones that left the office should have gone that way. But anyways, it's happened and it has happened. So the ones that are going to be in office now, we hope and believe that everything is going to work as planned, and there's going to be workings. So we're going to be seeing workings. We're going to be seeing the result of the things they are doing. And yes, like we said, we're working towards Nigeria being a better place. And I know that 2026, here it comes with a lot of benefits for us as Nigerians.
It comes with a lot of benefits for us as Nigerians. Well, as we wrap up, we'd just like you to stay connected and share your thoughts on the conversation. You heard the news. We brought the NMDPRA and NUPRC chiefs resign, and Tinubu has named replacement. We brought you news from Angola, where we see that Angola and Vietnam sign its first agricultural cooperation deal. We also told you about Nigeria getting set to launch the $1 billion fund for blue economy startups in March 2026. We also told you about Senegal and Gambia sealing 5-year deal to expand student mobility. If any of these stories resonated with you, I'd like you to do us a favor, reach out to us, share your thoughts, comment, like, share, tell your friend what do they think about any of the stories. We want to read from you, and we'll take your reactions tomorrow. My name is Chinatu Oji, and it was such a pleasure to do this with you, Mary.
My name is Mary Ojimajor.
We say have a good day.
Bye.